Welcome to A Toast to Truth, where we share our experiences dealing with emotional, mental, and or financial frustrations in business. Did anyone else have a panic attack the day before you turned 30? Or was it just me? This is Season 2, Episode 4, Life After 30. This is a special episode. This episode is in celebration of my 32nd birthday and the insight I've gained reflecting on my 20s and now the maturity I'm gaining in my early 30s. So before I get into today's topic, I want to pop some bubbly and kind of just share my celebration for this week. So my poppin' bubbly moment is I'm 32. And this is a really it's a really special thing because I've had a lot of things that have happened. You've all listened to some of the big things in Season 1, and I'm just thrilled to be at this age and to be a little bit more mature, wise, and a little bit more settled as well, no longer popping off at the mouth all the time. So that's my poppin' bubbly moment. So let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is life after 30. I remember turning 30. I remember like the days leading up to it and the day I turned 30, but really what was my thing that caught me off guard was the day before. The day before I turned 30, I ended up having a panic attack. And I've had some before in the past. However, having this panic attack was just like the craziest thing I've ever experienced. Because leading up to my birthday, I'm always excited about my birthday. I like to celebrate the whole month of July. It's a big deal because it's my birthday, you know. Let's just be real about that. It's my birthday, and I want to celebrate all month. If I could celebrate all summer, I would, but I don't think everybody around me wants to celebrate all summer. So they're stuck celebrating all month. So I'm literally having this panic attack before I turn 30. I mean, literally the day before, probably within the 24-hour period. And so all I could think of is I didn't accomplish anything, and tomorrow I'm going to turn 30, and what is this going to say about my life? Now, mind you, I had done a lot. By the time I was 30 years old, I had already bought my first condo, and then I sold it back to the bank. You can hear about that in Season 1, Episode 2. I graduated. I have 3 degrees. You know, that's a feat in and of itself because I did not even apply to go to college. Like, my mom kept saying, where's your acceptance letter? It's like, what colleges are you going to go to? And I was like, oh, I'm not going. She thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke. I literally did not apply to go to college at all. And so my mom drove me to a college, and that is how I ended up going. But, yeah, so for all of you who are like, no, I don't want to go to college, tell your parents way after the registration for, like, a community college, because that's what my mom did. She took me and signed me up and stuff. Anyway, I have 3 degrees. You know, other things I've accomplished, before I was 30, I had gone through 3 different careers. You know, I worked in the nonprofit world, I worked in church ministry, I worked in education, and then I was, you know, also an entrepreneur. So I guess that's 4. But it was just, you know, I had those things. And the reason I'm sharing all these things that I've accomplished is because a lot of times when we get to 30, we feel that if we're not married and we don't have kids, then we haven't done anything with our lives. Well, that's not true. Because I had also, spent a month overseas, working, playing, vacationing, having a good time. I've moved and lived in 3 different states. I'm trying to think of, just some things that I've done that, I'm quite proud of. And so, me having this panic attack because I'm turning 30 the next day. And, guys, this was like 2 years ago. Because like I said, I'm 32. This is me at 32 sharing reflection on my 20s versus my 30s. So let me get back to the story. So I'm having this panic attack, and I'm just realizing, my life isn't where I wanted it to be. I thought I was going to be married, have these kids, have this house, have this career, have all this stuff that I saw other people say you're supposed to have. And it just made me feel depressed even more because I didn't have what other people said I should have had at that age. And I wasn't looking at what I actually did have in retrospect, and I didn't honor what I had at the time, I have 3 nephews that I adore and I love, and, we have a great time together. So why wasn't I honoring my space as an aunt instead of what other people said I lacked or I needed more of? So, all this pressure. And then, seeing my friends have, they're married. Most of my friends are married. They have kids or whatever the case may be. And I just felt this immense pressure that here I am. I'm going to turn 30 years old, and I have nothing to show for it. And it was the most stressful, frustrating feeling that I've ever had. Well, not the most, but one of the most. And you're probably wondering, what does all this have to do with business? If this podcast is about business, what do these feelings have to do with business? They have a lot to do with business, because a lot of what we feel that we don't accomplish in our personal life, it really goes into our professional life, because whatever we have not cleaned up, organized, cleared out, made peace with in our personal life is going to definitely affect our professional life. And so for me, how I was feeling turning 30 was how I was feeling in my business at the same time, because here I am, I have built this Women Are Game Changers blog into a business, into a tour, and yet I was still feeling as if I hadn't accomplished anything, as if I had not done anything that was worthwhile, that was worthy of, me being proud of myself. And let's just be real, worthy of other people saying I had done a good job. Because, everyone wants to be acknowledged for what they do, for what they accomplish, for what they succeed in, for what they feel successful in. But a lot of times, if you have not defined your own success, then you're going to have a very, very hard time understanding that everyone doesn't need to clap for you. In fact, no one needs to clap for you. You need to be able to clap for yourself and keep it moving. And if you can't clap for yourself on everything that you have done, wanted to do, or attempting to do, then you have to reassess your mindset, and you need to reassess what's important to you, and you need to define what your own success looks like. So going back to my story of, feeling the anxiety of turning 30 and didn't feel like I had accomplished anything and I was doing anything. So then I had my birthday party. And so, I was surprised. Like, the whole table was full. I think I had gotten a table for 12. And, I was getting phone calls that people weren't going to make it, and, things had come up, which is cool, because most of my friends, 99% of people I call friends, I'll put it that way. If you're in my phone, I like you. If you're in my phone, we're friends. I'll put it that way. It's not the other way around. Like, just because you have me on your phone does not equate that we're friends. But if I have you in my phone, we're friends in my mind. So anyway, I was like, okay, whoever shows up, shows up. I'm just going to eat at my favorite Mexican restaurant in Houston, Escalante's, great restaurant. Well, I like it. And so, every seat was full. So it was like 12 of us there. And, we talked, we laughed, we had a good time. Some people knew each other, some people didn't know each other. And what I gained from that is laughter. It is very important to have in life. Don't take everything seriously. Celebrate what you have, what you've accomplished, what you've done, but also, appreciate the people who are there in your life. Appreciate the support system that you have, because without them to lean on in those very, very hard times that you will go through, that you are going through, that you will go through, it's going to be very hard for you to make it, and you need them. So, treasure and cherish and honor all of those things that happen when you're sitting around the table at your birthday dinner, laughing with the people who were able to make the time to come. And another thing, this is a side note. Y'all know I like to go off on side notes and rants and everything. So someone posted on Facebook that you shouldn't tell people that they're not a priority, just say you don't have time. I kind of don't believe that philosophy. And here's why. There's a lot of times things come out, things happen that are out of your control. And you could have wanted to do something, be there for someone, and something out of your control happened. So are you saying at that point that those people are no longer a priority because you now had to take care of something that was out of your control? Let's say, for instance, you wanted to go support your friend, and guess what? On your way there, you got into a car accident. So now are you saying that your friend is no longer a priority? No. That's why I hate that saying, because you can't always say that because someone didn't show up for you that you weren't a priority for them. Things happen. Life happens. People want to do what they can for the people they care about. Sometimes for people they don't care about too, but that's a totally different podcast episode. I'm saying all this to say you need to cherish the people who are willing to do what they can for you, not what you want them to do. So that's a lesson I learned from my 20s, reflecting on my 20s, and now I'm in my 30s. I used to be so upset when people didn't do what they said they were going to do, and I had to realize that not everyone can do it because they say yes to too many people. I still have friends in their 30s who say yes all the time. I have no problem saying no. If I say no, I'm not going to do it, and you're not going to change my mind, because my time is mine, and my time is how I choose to use it. And so I'm not going to let other people dictate my time. That's another lesson. Don't let people dictate your time, because your time is precious. The only thing you cannot get back in this world is your time. So you need to choose how you want to use it. And for me, if I say no, I mean no. In my 20s, I used to say yes all the time, trying to help everyone do everything. And then I never had time for myself, and then I would get frustrated, and then I would lash out at people. So those two things so far that we've gone through: cherish people around you and don't let others dictate your time. These are lessons that if I were more wise and mature in my 20s, would have had different consequences and results for me. However, I see that the consequences and results of my decisions from my 20s has really kind of shaped my decision-making now that I'm in my early 30s. Okay, so let's go back to time real quick, because I want people to understand, if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, freelancer, you work for yourself, whatever the case may be, you work for yourself. This is not for employees. This is for people who work for themselves. Your time is so precious, because unlike people who work on a job who have this time to this time, a set time that they have to work and get things done, you don't have a set time. But in addition to not having a set time, you also have to make time for family. You also have to make time if you have community commitments that you've made. You also have to make time if you are trying to have personal time, self-care, social time. So all this stuff you have to think about. But when you are the boss, you know, you're going to have clients calling you at whatever time of day that they feel like calling you, even though you may have given office hours, which I would say enforce those office hours. Like for me, another side note rant, I do not respond to email after 5 o'clock or on the weekends unless it's important, and I don't check it. I have an autoresponder that says email is checked once a day from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's it. I'm not about to spend all my day checking email when I know I have 6 different email accounts that I manage. I don't have time for that. I like to do other stuff, you know, like, I don't know, me creating my journal was one of the things that was an 8-month project that I worked on pretty much every day for 8 months. You know, creating the webinars that all flopped. Y'all will hear about those in other episodes, you know, but creating the content and creating the marketing and all that stuff, that takes time. So you can't, again, let people dictate your time because as an entrepreneur, freelancer, small business owner, someone who works for themselves, your time is something you cannot get back. Okay? So that's the second thing that I've learned, you know, reflecting on my 20s. Another lesson that I've learned, and while you're all listening to my lessons, please know I did not write notes, so these are all going off of the top of my head. I didn't want to sound scripted, so I am sharing what I know to be true for me, and I hope that what I've experienced, you're able to take some of these lessons and solutions that I've learned and apply them to your own business life. Because this whole podcast was created because I was emotionally, mentally, and financially frustrated with my business because I was doing all these things people said to do, and I was getting frustrated because I kept hitting a brick wall. And then I would go and try to find someone else, pay them, and then it always felt like it was taking me back 1,000 steps instead of moving me forward. So the frustration of running a business is why I started this podcast, for me and my friends to share stories with you guys. Okay, so let's go to, you know, another thing that I've learned reflecting on my 20s. You cannot pop off at the mouth at everyone. Trust me. In my 20s, you looked at me crazy. I was going to say something. You said something to me crazy. I was going to say something. I heard you said something about me. I was going to say something. Didn't matter if I thought you said something. I was going to say something. I say it all just to say that if you listen to season 1, episode, I believe that's episode 6, about my depression, I was an angry person because I had all this unresolved issues that I didn't know how to deal with, and some of them I just ignored and didn't acknowledge. It festered, and it just bubbled inside me, and it was like something ready to boil over. And so every time I got annoyed with someone, I would just pop off at the mouth, like, bah, 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 bah. It didn't matter. And when I finished, like, those people, 9 times out of 10, never wanted to see me again, and that was fine by me, because at the time, I didn't want anything to do with them. So now that I'm in my 30s, would I have changed anything? Probably not. Let's be real about that. Probably not. However, now I'm very strategic on popping off. Every once in a while, I'll pop off at the mouth at someone because it just was like, you know what, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But I've learned to be more strategic with it because I am learning that people see me, they have a perception of me. And, you know, for people to want to work with me, I have to make sure that they see who I am, but not all of who I am. Okay? I hope that makes sense. They have to see who I am, but not all of who I am. And we're definitely going to talk a lot more about that in episode 8. So, stay tuned to the episode. Keep listening, because episode 8 we're going to go there. But they have to see who I am, and they can't see all of who I am. You remember those sayings, what's done in this house stays in this house. Well, you can't let your anger leave your house all the time. You can't let your frustration leave your house all the time. There's sometimes you're going to have to go back to what I said on, the first thing I learned about your cherishing your circle. Sometimes you're going to have to go to them on the phone or in person and vent to your business circle, to your business bestie, because you cannot do it online. You cannot do it in public. If you are in business, people have a perception of you, and if that's the first time they see you, or if they feel that that's out of character for you, it could change their perception of you, and then they may not want to work with you anymore. For me, here's another lesson. Don't give more than people ask for. And if they ask for something, only give them that. And if they ask for business advice, send an invoice. I'm going to see if I can remember. Let me see if I can remember what I just said. Do not give people more than they ask for. If they ask for something, give them just that. And if they ask for business advice, send them an invoice. I hope that was the same thing, y'all. I really do. Because I'm telling you this. I have given out so much advice over the last 4.5 years that, I have seen other people make so much money off of what I gave them. Never sent them an invoice, never asked for a payment. But then they want to keep coming back. And so I dug that hole myself. So let's go back to the first part. Don't give people more than they don't help people unless they ask for it. Okay, if you see someone struggling, you can ask if they want help. If they say no, let it go. Do not help them. If they say yes, ask them, how do you want me to help you? Do not help them the way you think they should be helped. Help them the way they ask to be helped. And this is personal help. This is not business help. Third part of that is if people ask for business advice, send an invoice. The reason you're sending an invoice is because now you are about to give them the help that they need that they don't know how to do or what to do. And that's why the invoice is there. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to take a sip, and then I want to come back and share more reflections of my 20s. Ready to face the truth in your business? Schedule a truth power session. I act as your sounding board, giving feedback, critiques, suggestions, while teaching you how to mentally detox using journaling. Go to VernetteRFernee.com/truthconfidant. And don't forget to pre-order your The Truth Confidant Journal, my first physical product. And it will be a great birthday present to me if you make that purchase. Okay, so we are back. And we are talking about, my reflection on my 20s now that I'm in my early 30s. So before we took a sip, I was talking about do not give help to people unless they ask for it. If they ask for your help, you ask them how they want you to help them. And then if they ask for business advice, give an invoice. I dug myself into a hole, and I'm not sure how to get out of it without just completely letting folks know, no. And the hole I dug myself into is I like to help people. I love to help people. And sometimes I help people without them asking for the help. And that's why I'm sharing this reflection. And I like to help people in business because I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to make money. I want everyone to do well. I want everyone to be able to do the things that they want to do. And so I'll give business help. the problem is I kept giving, and all these people were making money. However, I wasn't making money off of the information that I was giving them because I was giving it to them for free. So that is why I created the Truth Power Session, because I will be able to give you all of the information I have acquired, all of the knowledge I have gained, all of the experiences I have gone through to help you face the truth in your business on a particular problem. So that was my solution. Create this session, be able to still help people, but at a rate that they can afford. Okay, so that's a reflection. Another reflection that I've had on my 20s is that I don't need to live for other people's expectations of me. Other people's expectations on how I should live my life, what I should do, who I should date, where I should live, what type of business I should have, if I should have a business or have a 9-to-5. All these expectations other people have of me do not matter. Because at the end of the day, I need to define what success looks like for me and what life I want to live. So once I have those defined, which I do, then I make decisions according to that. Living for other people's expectations is very draining because you're sitting there trying to please and appease other people, not knowing what's going on in their mind. You have this perception that they want you to do this, but then you try to knock it out the park doing that, and then they're still not happy. Guess what? They won't ever be happy. They won't ever be happy because you can't make someone else happy, and someone else cannot make you happy. The only way you can be happy is if you are defining your own success and you're defining how you want to live your own life. Once you made those two decisions, then it doesn't matter what other people say to you or about you, because that's not going to have any relevance to you continuing to live your life and make your decisions. So that's another life reflection that I've had. I'm sure I've had a lot, and I'm sure, like I said, if I wrote them down, it would be like 101 lessons. However, I wanted this to be more like just a natural thing for me to share with you guys, reflections of my 20s. And now that I'm in my 30s, how do I see things? So let's get there. Let's get to my 30s. Okay, so after I had my panic attack, and then I had my birthday dinner the next evening with my friends, and we were laughing, having a good time, and they all just made me feel as if, you know what, this is my life. I must enjoy it because this is my life, and it's a great life to have. It made me look at things a little different, and I slowly began to do the things that I needed to do to get the help that I needed to get, so that I can be mentally at my best. Because if I'm not mentally at my best, emotionally, I start popping off at the mouth. So emotionally, it makes me unstable. And then if I'm popping off at the mouth, people may not want to work with me, then that hurts my finances. So all these things have a chain reaction. It always starts with your mental health. So after my 30th birthday dinner, that's when I started to start taking more steps to, acknowledge that I needed to really see someone, because I shouldn't be sad all the time, that I really needed to see someone because I needed to get stuff together. However, it wasn't until, so I turned 30 July 1st, 2014. It wasn't until March 2015 that I finally made the decision that I needed to do something about my life, or there may not be any more life. And that may sound drastic for some people, but I was at that point. And I read this book by Justina R. Page, Circle of Fire, probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. I mean, hands down, one of the best books. I wrote a book rehab, and I believe I did a Periscope. So if you go to BurnetteRFreeney.com search for Circle of Fire, and you'll be able to read that blog post. You can also go to Women Are Game Changers and search Circle of Fire. I mean, I love the book so much, I wrote it on both my blogs. But that book was the launch pad for me to really start taking my mental health serious and to go and talk to people. And I found my therapist, and I started working with her, and I started doing the things that I needed to do. I really got back into journaling. I really got back into writing my feelings and my thoughts daily. But then I started to look into the therapeutic benefits of journaling, the process of journaling, and that is, one of the main reasons I created the Truth Confidant Journal is because when you are running a business and you are by yourself, you have no staff, you're in your house all day, every day by yourself, and the only person you are connected to is Facebook. Let's be real, Facebook. You can go insane, and I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying you can literally go insane because you have all these thoughts and you have all these emotions and you have all this frustration inside of you. And you have nowhere to let it go because you don't want to be a therapist because you're afraid what other people are going to say. Guess what, boo? No one's going to know you're seeing a therapist. So you can go. The only people who are going to know are you and the therapist. If you tell someone else, guess what? They're going to know too. So take time, see a therapist if you need one. Okay, let's go back. So you're sitting there and you're doing all this stuff by yourself and you're getting frustrated, right? That frustration stops your creative juices from flowing. It stops your productivity because you're just sitting there. Sometimes you can sit for hours and not realize it's hours that pass by and you haven't accomplished anything because you're on Facebook, okay? So that is why you have to take your mental health very, very serious. And if you need help, go see a therapist. I mean, I did emotional freedom technique. That was the type of therapy I did. That therapy worked for me. If you listen to season 1, episode 6, my guest co-host Azalea, she saw a different type of therapist, and she had a different type of treatment. So your treatments can range. However, going back to journaling, so writing my thoughts out, writing my feelings, getting those out, it really did kind of help me release all of this negativity that was in me and start seeing my life for what it is and start appreciating my life for what I have. And so now, at 32, I can quite honestly say I am a happy person. Do I still get sad? Yes. I'm not happy 24/7. And I hate when people are like, be positive, speak affirmations, be happy, as if you're not going to have a sad day in your life. Bump that. You're going to have a sad day. Let that feeling go. Let that feeling happen. If you're sad, let it happen in that moment. Then continue to live life. If you don't let that feeling, it starts, going inside you. It can fester in something horrible. You start becoming passive aggressive. It can lead to a whole bunch of other things, people. So that's why I'm always telling people, if you have that feeling, let it happen right then and there. Because guess what? 30 seconds of letting that feeling happen in the moment can save you a lot of frustration in the future, because the longer you let it sit, the longer you're going to think about it and the more things you're going to want to do to make that feeling feel justified. Okay? So here I am at 32, and I love my life, and I'm realizing that the life that I thought I should have, or the one I felt people said I should have, that's not what I want. I'm enjoying embracing the fluidity of the journey that I'm on, and the fact that I'm going to Haiti this year, a country I've always wanted to go to, because I'm letting myself live. I'm letting myself do the things that I want to do. So I'm so excited about my service mission trip to Haiti in September. Hope you guys are donating. money and supplies to this trip for the orphanage and the school that we're going, and the hospital that we're going to support while we're there. Again, go to the show notes on BurnetRFrainey.com, and you will see the link for the trip in Haiti. But I'm also, the founding organizer of the Houston African American Bloggers Group. I've always wanted to help bloggers, and here's my chance to help bloggers learn more about the industry, learn how to turn their craft into a career, and to also build a community, a local community, where they have people that they can talk to and feel safe and able to vent to. So I'm so excited to be a part of this organization, because it's definitely needed in a world where you see people on Instagram with 1 million followers getting all this money, and then you're wondering, I'm busting my butt writing blog post after blog post and scoping and YouTubing, tweeting and Instagramming, and nothing, crickets. Who do you vent to? Your family doesn't understand, because nobody understands blogging unless you are a blogger. So that's why I'm so honored to be a part of the Houston African American Bloggers Association. And if you can get to the Houston area, August 6th, we are having HAB Boot Camp, calling all content creators. You can learn more about that at HoustonAfricanAmericanBloggers.com. Again, I will have that in the show notes. So, my life now at 32 is completely different than my life at 18, 20, 25, definitely 27. Because the day I would turn 27 was the day I was unemployed, because I was no longer part of the school district, and I couldn't find another job. And here I am on my 27th birthday, depressed because I am unemployed, I have a mortgage, I live in a nice part of Houston, and I had all these bills and all this responsibility, and I could not figure out what I was going to do next. So even though it seems like a lot of drama happen around my birthday, I still enjoy celebrating my birthday every year, and I'm going to celebrate my birthday every year after this one. So anyway, I'm saying all this to say, now that I've taken the time to unclutter my mind, to gain clarity on the life I want to live, and to define my own success, my life at 32 is freaking amazing. And it would only be even more amazing if I was able to see it coming in my 20s. But I wasn't, because I had a lot of mental clutter. So again, I really urge you guys to get the Kids Confidant Journal, so that if you have some mental clutter and it doesn't require you to see a therapist or a counselor, the journal will be a great way, because I really do help kind of guide you through some things you can do to clear your mind, so that you can increase your productivity, let your creative juices flow, and mentally detox every day. Because, instead of me popping off at the mouth at people, I now cuss people out in my journal. So that's my little secret that I have shared with all of you. A way for me to stay calm. I write in my little journal, go off on that person, leave it there, and I'm good. Well, that is it for Life After 30, my birthday episode. So I'm going to share my final toast in today's episode. Even though I only talk to myself, I'm still going to do a final toast. Okay, so my final toast. My final toast is to take life one moment at a time and enjoy that moment. Embrace that moment, because you cannot get that moment again. You cannot go back in time. You cannot add more time to your life. Treasure the moments in life that you do have. All right. This has been a toast to truth with Burnett R. Freeney. That's me talking with you guys today about life after 30. All right. Catch us on the next episode.